We're at NXT Vengeance Day and we kick off the show in style with the NXT Women's North American Championship match between Fallon Henley and Stephanie Vaquer. And of course, Jasmine Nix and JC Jane accompany Fallon to the ring. But before they can more than likely run amok, they get ran off by Chemical X. It's going to be a fair one-on-one match, and this makes Fallon quite afraid of the nightmare she has to face on her own. So she cowers away, but Stephanie gives chase and even manages to catch up to her before hurling her into the barricade. Then she sends Fallon into the ring, but as the challenger gets back into the squared circle, Henley attempts a roll-up, although Stephanie kicks out. But as both of them get back to their feet, the champ manages to drop Vaquer, and she subsequently begins to take control of the match. Everyone is itching for Vaquer to get her moment, although Henley is desperate to ensure that doesn't happen anytime soon. But no matter what she does, Stephanie stays in the fight. Nothing can seemingly put her down, and Stephanie starts to get back into the match. She starts to overwhelm the reigning champ, and with that, Vaquer hits big time moves including a leg drop to the top rope and a hammerlock DDT, although that doesn't do the trick. Stephanie needs more. She needs the killing blow, but Fallon has it scouted at every turn, and she even manages to connect a Shining Wizard, although Stephanie just manages to kick out. So Fallon Henley demands for her to get up. She's going for one more, but Vaquer counters. Then seeing as Henley has the move scouted, Stephanie Vaquer decides to connect a modified package backbreaker for the win, and most importantly, the NXT Women's North American Championship. Everyone is elated at Stephanie's crowning, and the elation continues when her first challenge presents itself. Jordynne Grace is on NXT, and she has her sights set on gold, although so does another woman who is also looking to chase a similar prize. Stephanie Vaquer seemingly has her hands full of challenges before she can even hit a day as champion. Although the following match isn't about championships, it's about two men who can't stand each other, two men who hate each other's guts, but Javon Evans is only just barely by the skin of his teeth being cleared to compete, and Ethan Page loves this, as he's mocking Evans before the match can even begin, but this makes Javon snap, as he goes right after Ethan Page as soon as the bell rings, with him even sending the man with an ego out the ring before connecting a humongous dive. Javon Evans is on fire, but that fire gets put out as Page clocks him with a vicious boot to the jaw before sending him into the ring post. And once Evans gets set back into the ring, it's clear that he's nowhere near 100%, as he gets absolutely brutalized by Ethan Page. It's looking hopeless for Javon, because it is, as Page puts a merciful end to the match as he connects the Ego's edge to pick up the win. But the win isn't enough for Page, as he goes to the outside and grabs a chair. Javon needs help, and he gets it, although it's not in the form you'd expect. Lindsay Dorado is here, and he aids a fellow high flyer in Javon Evans by sending Page out the ring. Lindsay comes back to WWE with a bag, and the bag is only continuing the highly personal strap match, which isn't in WWE 2K24, so just use your imagination. And it's between Eddie Thorpe and Trick Williams in what could be the most physical contest of the night, as both men do not hold back in the slightest. It's more of a pure brawl than a wrestling match, but at the end of the day, both men know that a win here could propel them into contention for an NXT title match at Stand and Deliver. So they do whatever it takes in an attempt to get the win. But Trick is a different beast since losing his NXT title, and he's showing this new vicious side of him in buckets as he turns the tides of the match in his favour by battering Thorpe in the corner. It's looking bleak for Eddie as Trick lines him up for a trick shot, but Eddie dodges it, then attempts to steal the victory with a roll-up, although Trick gets out of it. And as both men get to their feet, they just start trading strikes, but Trick seemingly has more gas left in the tank as he yet again starts to overwhelm Thorpe, although in the process of the beatdown, the match abruptly pauses, although it's not in the form you'd think of. Trick Williams and Eddie Thorpe have been laid out, but by who? Well, no one knows. But what everyone does know is that both competitors are still down and out. Although after what feels like an eternity, Eddie Thorpe starts to stir, and subsequently he effectively collapses onto Trick, although just by the skin of his teeth. Trick kicks out at 2. Eddie can't believe it, although he now knows he must deliver the killing blow. So he demands for Trick to get up, although as he picks him up, Trick manages to evade whatever Eddie was planning as he finally manages to connect the trick shot to pick up the win. He's one step closer to getting his one-on-one match with Obafemi, although after he leaves the almost lifeless Eddie Ford behind, we see something truly disturbing. As Saquon Sugars, Cutler James and Joshua Black begin beating down Eddie. It's disgusting by this presumed new faction, and leading them seemingly is Dion Madden, who brings out the bloody Trick Williams. The statement has been made, the message has been sent loud and clear, but before the next match, we see a very mouth-watering confrontation. Hello Tony, how's your leg? It's been better. How's appearing on TV for once? Pretty good. Better than your leg probably, but just so you know, the revolution for me at least starts with the NXT North American title, so now you've got more than a gang of freaks to worry about. Ricky Starks warns Tony D'Angelo, the Don's life is becoming a living hell day by day. Although up next, Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura are looking to topple his seemingly unbeatable Fraxium, and because of their huge strength advantage, the Dynamic Duo are actually able to control large sections of the contest. But every time they look for the finishing blow, Fraxium managed to escape it each and every time, and due to the fact that Fraxium's speed is effectively unmatched, they managed to get back into the contest with big dives left, right and centre. Although as Nathan Fraser looks for a potential final dive of the match, Josh manages to counter and plant him with a gory clothesline from hell, but Axiom breaks up the pin, and this really ticks off Briggs, yet he can't do much about it as Yoshiki Inamura inadvertently bumps into him, something Fraxium knows all too well, as with Axiom taking out Inamura, Fraser manages to connect a picture-perfect Phoenix Splash to retain. Fraxium remains undeniable, seemingly no one can topple them. Although now it's time for Grayson Waller and Austin Theory to attempt to unseat Obafemi as NXT champion. And as soon as the match begins, it's looking like it'll be a 2-on-1 assault against Obafemi. That is until Theory wipes out Waller with a stiff strike. It's every man for himself, and Oba loves this as he and Theory start going at it, and the former A-Town Down Under member is actually proving to be an equal to Obafemi, but that's stopped dead in his tracks by Grayson Waller, who connects a rolling stunner onto his former tag team partner. And of course, he's very cocky about this, although he doesn't realise that now he is stuck in a one-on-one predicament against the ruler of NXT. And of course, he gets absolutely decimated by the much larger champion, so Waller has to use his versatility as a performer just to stay in the fight. But it isn't long until Austin Theory reinserts himself into the match, as all three men go at it with one another, with no one even taking a second to slow down. Although by the climax, Grayson Waller just can't compete against both of his opponent's strength any longer, as he succumbs to a brutal powerbomb to the outside by Obafemi. But then Theory tries to pick up Oba, but the Conqueror gets out of it before planting him with a pop-up powerbomb. Although Theory unbelievably kicks out at 2, so Oba picks him up and connects another powerbomb. And with a third, he goes into the cover yet again, but once again, Theory somehow, almost out of pure instinct, kicks out, and this really pushes Oba to madness as he hits another, and another, and another. But even though Theory's back must be broken in half, he refuses to give up, and as one last stand, he demands for Oba to give his best shot, which turns out to be the 7th and final powerbomb. And with that, Oba has done it. He has retained the NXT title. A-Town Down Under are no more, and the reign of Obafemi continues. But can Julia similarly retain her NXT Women's title? As it's now time for the main event of the evening. Who will walk out of Vengeance Day as NXT Women's Champion? Will it be Bayley? Will it be Cora Jade? Will it be Roxanne Perez? Or will it be Julia? Well, the match almost starts out as if it's a tag team contest, as Bayley and Roxanne Perez go at it at one side of the ring, whilst Cora Jade and Julia do battle on the other, and the babyfaces manage to overwhelm their respective opposition, which leaves them standing face to face. Although before they can start their duel, Cora and Roxy ruin a more than likely legendary battle as they send the babyfaces out the ring, which then leaves just them in the middle of the squared circle. Although Cora almost instantaneously takes Roxanne down, their friendship is no more. Although Cora can't do more to Roxy, as Julia pulls the leader of the generation of Jade to the outside, but then Bayley launches herself at both opponents with a big double axe handle to the outside. Although before she can capitalize, Roxanne Perez comes out of nowhere and sends the role model into the steps. Then she decides to target the beautiful Madness as she throws her into the ring. Then she looks for a pop rocks, although Julia counters. Then she looks for a glorious Northern Lights bomb, but the Prodigy counters that, and in the blink of an eye, Cora Jade reinserts herself into the match by diving onto Julia, and Roxy attempts to befriend Cora in an attempt to take down Julia for good, although this doesn't work as they start slugging it out with one another. They've turned from best friends to bitter enemies, and during the utter chaos, Bayley manages to get back into the match as she and Julia start trading strikes as well, but as they trade, Julia manages to connect the Kamigoye, although the pin gets broken up by Cora before she turns her attention back to the Prodigy, and because of this, she doesn't notice Julia stalking her prey as she takes both women to the outside before deciding to redecorate the announcer's table. Then she grabs Roxanne Perez, puts her on the table, but the Prodigy fights back and she manages to plant Julia for DDT onto the table, but as soon as she gets down, Cora grabs and launches her into the ring post. Then she goes into the ring to target Bayley, but she tries to roll her up, although Cora manages to kick out. Although this gives Bayley the advantage, as if Cora caught off guard, the role model attempts a rose plant, but Cora counters that, and she looks for the killing blow as she manages to connect Jaded. But before she can go into the cover, she gets pulled out of the ring, not by Julia, not by Roxanne Perez, but by Masha Slamovich. The TNA Knockouts champion is here, and she's here to screw Cora Jade out of the NXT Women's Championship as she drags Cora to the back, which leaves Roxanne Perez to attempt to pick up the pieces. Although she can't become a three-time NXT Women's Champion just yet, as Bayley just won't stay down for the free, so Roxy demands for Bayley to get up for a pop rocks, although Julia comes out of nowhere and wipes her off a picture-perfect double axe handle, but Roxanne Perez fights back with her knee to the side of the temple, and as both of them get up, Roxy manages to connect a pop rocks onto Julia, but to add insult to injury, she goes over to Bayley and connects one onto her as well. Although she can't pick up the win, as unbelievably, Raquel Rodriguez comes out of nowhere and screws Roxy out of the title match ahead of their Elimination Chamber qualifier match. As to ensure Roxy is softened up for their contest on Monday, Raquel tosses her to the outside and plants her through the announcer's table. Roxanne Perez is out, and just like Slamovich, Raquel takes Roxy away, which leaves only two, Bayley and Julia. Both women barely have anything left, although their willpower is unwavering, so they counter each other's moves back and forth with no one seemingly having the advantage. Although that changes as Bayley manages to connect a Bayley to belly, but Julia just manages to kick out a two, so Bayley looks for a rose plant, yet just like every other time during this match, she can't connect it. Julia counters, but she too can't connect a finishing blow as Bayley reverses, takes her down, then she climbs to the top rope. She's looking for a signature elbow drop, but Julia moves out of harm's way, and with that seemingly being Bayley's last gas, Julia manages to connect a glorious Northern Lights bomb. And after a phenomenal match, Julia has retained. She proves she is the best of the best in the NXT Women's division, and this brings the attention of someone going on her own retirement tour. Meiko Satomura is here, and she's here to officially announce that her retirement match will be at Stand and Deliver. And along with this, she wants her final match to be against the beautiful Madness, which Julia of course accepts. The stage is set for the finale of Meiko Satomura's career, but a woman she has a lot of history with also wants a piece of the NXT Women's Championship pie.